Now, because a whole host of idiots are just going to go ahead and not see the greater context of this, I think I might as well cover the verdict. Like I've said before a couple of different times, I don't know all the ins and outs about this case, but what I do know is punitively punishing a man right now at a tune of $1 billion, and he just previously had a trial down in Texas a couple of months ago, ended up getting hit with at least the verdict at the time, and with all the caps on punitive damages, like obviously it's not going to be $1 billion, it's just going to be a cap on that, unless Connecticut's a totally weird place. But again, this entire trial structure, because yeah, Alex Jones now has to pay $1 billion for his claims about a massacre. Now, Adam Lanza, the kid who ended up carrying out the Sandy Hook shooting, how much has he had to pay out to any of the families that were affected in this one? Okay, what has his state been burdened with? Nothing. Don't worry, Alex Jones is gonna have to cover it. Why? Because he was the only guy who was out there covering it and taking a look at a bunch of different viewpoints, and then because he said the magic words, all of a sudden now he has to carry the brunt of this. It makes absolutely zero sense. And if you want to be one of those trad cucks that are out there like Sebastian Gorka, when he's not too busy stumping for fucking Ukraine to blow up the rest of the world, he's out there saying, oh, that's what you get for lying about dead children. Motherfucker, you're out there also being on the record as saying that you're a very strong Trump supporter. If you don't see that this is to curtail the First Amendment through punitive means, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you, but you've clearly gone off the reservation. You have not broke the conditioning, in fact. Well, let's take a look at this. Alex Jones must pay Sandy Hook families nearly $1 billion, $965 million. It's some fucking absurd level. I think the prosecution or whoever, it's basically the state, right? Because the default judgment came down from the judge saying, yes, you made defamatory statements. Oh, okay, cool. Can I talk? No, you can't talk about that. Oh, okay, cool. Can I say that I haven't? Can I defend my? No. You can't say any of that stuff. You just have to sit there for this struggle session with some of the wildest fucking testimony that I've ever seen. I listened to it. I only seen a little bit, and to be completely frank, a lot of it was the coverage that Nick Rekieta was doing. So yeah, no, that's where I've got most of my context when it comes to this case here specifically. I watched a little bit on my own of the Texas joint, but there's going to be another trial back there because again, this show must continue to go on. It was initially supposed to be, this entire case, it was supposed to be a federal joint, which makes a little bit more sense, okay? If we're to take a look at this when it comes to a purely standing ground, okay, it should be federal, right? Because Alex Jones broadcast from Austin, Texas, and this trial right here took place in Connecticut, okay? As far as I know, Austin, Texas, and Connecticut, when we're looking at a map, not quite in the same state. And if all of these harmful claims, which again, I don't really know how these are specifically harmful, but okay, for the context of, you know, punishing the evil water merchant or water filter merchant salesman, or the peddler of super male vitality, whatever works for you, requires him to get drug about the country a couple of different times for dubious reasons, so this clown show can be drugged through different state courts instead of just being dealt with by means of the federal government being involved with it. Because again, this was transmitted throughout the country, and apparently, according to them, and he was never allowed to refute this in court, oh, for the better part of, he's been purporting these lies for 6 years. I think he said even publicly in his own clarification of the statements outside of the confines of the courtroom, because he's not allowed to talk about that stuff. Maybe 10 shows for a total of an hour or some shit like that, his own statements. Other times, yeah, he's talking with other people that have crazy fucking positions. He said one thing once, and then, oh yeah, that's the one that gets taken out of context. That's the $1 billion statement. Allegedly. Fucking wild. Alex Jones must pay nearly $1 billion to the families of the victims of a mass shooting. You think for that amount of money, he should have been able to get a couple of rounds in, but no, he said the mean words. A jury in the state said on October 12th. I think they were in deliberations for what, 25 minutes? Okay. Did they even wait for the coffee and donuts to arrive, or they were just like, nah, can we just go ahead and get out of here? The jury said Jones, the InfoWars host, must pay the money for defamation, slander, and emotional damage. Jurors said the plaintiff should be awarded attorney's fees, which are set to be determined in November. Oh, but the plaintiff should also be awarded attorney... Oh my god, as if it's not enough. So what? For a ground total of... And yeah, we'll have to get the receipts back from all the lawyers that are down there, because how many families were being represented in this one or whatever? But this is retarded. It's ludicrous. It boggles the mind, because okay, cool, yes, stand on the corpses of dead children. Okay, this is something that, this is the exact situation that Piers Morgan, I mean, we just broke down the Andrew Tate Piers Morgan interview. This is the exact same scenario that Piers Morgan grandstanded on for all of these fucking years. Oh, won't somebody do something about those terrible firearm manufacturers because of those dead kids, 26 dead kids in Sandy Hook? He was talking about that. Shouldn't you be trying to, you know, fucking string him up by his ankles and shake out his pockets? No? Oh, okay, he's on your side. I understand. Jones, for years, claimed that family members of victims were actors who faked the tragedy and described the shooting as being staged as a part of a government plot to take away Americans' guns. Funny, when I was watching the trial and even just trying to do my own independent research, because again, I don't know everything when it comes to this, okay? And by watching the trial, you only get a partial point of view because he's not allowed to say certain things. So I was trying to see what his statements are, okay? I was actually trying to see what Alex Jones was saying on this type of stuff. And you know what I came up with? Absolutely nothing. Nothing about it. So the fact that he was claiming it for years, I've also seen him for years go around and apologize for ever holding that position at one point or another. And he's clarified it on multiple different occasions in multiple different locations as well. So for anybody to unironically say that this is a position that he currently holds in today's day and age, that is retarded. You are functionally and purposefully misinformed, and you're just simply going on what you're being fed by the media. But that's all right. You have good company because, again, once again, oh yeah, getting rid of Alex Jones. Okay, now making him pay just about $1 billion, which again, you know what? Hey, when all the caps are imposed, we don't know what it's ultimately going to end up being. Depends on how many more charges end up getting thrown by him. Because I'm sure Alex Jones has probably held a unsavory opinion on something that's out there, and somebody will file a charge because of emotional damages. Oh, he was saying something bad. I don't think that it was right what he was saying about what happened in September in New York City back in 2001. For years I've been carrying this burden, and then drag up some old fucking radio clip on all that shit. Yeah, okay, cool. But it's fine because it's Alex Jones right now. Okay, this was the exact same opinion we heard a lot when it came to him getting off of Apple iStore, when it came to podcasts, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Meta. Oh, wow. And now what's that happening? Oh, to just regular people for just taking a contrary opinion to what popular medical professionals, all of the experts are saying about a certain jab that may or may not have been tested all that fully. Interesting, right? Stand up for this shit now or face the consequences later. But again, yeah, mainstream people aren't going to give a fuck. They're just going to be like, oh yeah, the frog guy bad. Plaintiffs in the case were relatives of 20 children and 6 staff members who were gunned down at Sandy Hook Elementary School in December of 2012. Adam Lanza, 20, shot his mother at their home and then went to school. He opened fire according to authorities. Okay, and the verdict, which came out after 3 weeks of testimony in a state court in Waterbury, Connecticut, far outstripped the $49 million Jones was ordered to pay by a Texas jury in a similar case earlier this year. Jones's lawyers have said they'll appeal that amount. Yeah, it seems excessive. And because he was never, ever going to be getting a fair jury in Connecticut, because let's be honest, that's exactly where it happened. It's a traumatic event. Can't take anything away from that. A school shooting always fucking sucks. And then if you want to drudge that up for some sort of coverage, you want to reignite all of those fires of the most traumatic event that's ever going to happen in that area for the purposes of trying to punish somebody for something that can ultimately never be punished because Adam Lanza, I do believe, is in the ground, thankfully. Then yeah, obviously there's going to be some bias in this. And especially if the jury's not been informed that Alex Jones can't present his own competent defense because he's not allowed to say or dispute any of the statements that are there, that he just can't provide context for any of the statements that are there, or provide any adequate defense for what he is saying. Like, I don't know, the First Amendment? Christ almighty. Lawyers for the family of 8 Sandy Hook victims during closing arguments in Connecticut said Jones cashed in for years on lying about the shooting. Could you provide any video clips, anything that's on there? Oh, his InfoWars site, banned.video, it reaches 550 million people, and they were all there to talk about Sandy Hook. Like, what are you talking about, dude? He's only talked about it on a handful of occasions. What are we talking about here? Which drove traffic to his InfoWars website and boosted sales of various products promoted there. Yes, exactly. So fucking stupid. Family suffered a decade-long campaign of harassment and death threats driven by Jones. Could you prove any of that stuff? No, it happened. Therefore, Alex Jones drove him there. Could you provide any moment of a video or audio recordings that said you should go outside of family members' houses, you should harass them, you should send them death threats because they're all crisis actors? No? Oh, okay, cool. He just did that, though. This is exactly what's happening. Like, I'm not mischaracterizing this. This is exactly what they're saying that Alex Jones did, when there's just absolutely nothing. Nothing to the effect that he did any of this stuff. Attorney Chris Matei said, every single one of those families drowning in grief, and Alex Jones put his foot right on top of them. How? Discussing a news story. Okay, cool. Can we go ahead and sue Stone Phillips for a couple $1 million then, too, for reporting on this tragedy? People knew about it, therefore I'm entitled to millions of dollars. Some of the family members testified during the trial. After the shock of Ben's murder, I felt like Murch. I was underwater, and I didn't know which way was up. Cool. And how did Alex Jones cause that? Was he pulling the trigger? No. Father Benjamin Wheeler, 6, one of the Sandy Hook victims. You're grasping. Oh, yeah, you're grasping with that. You're telling to get your head around that, and then someone publicly telling the world that it didn't happen, and that you're a fraud and a phony is incredibly disorienting. Okay, cool. Yeah, it sucks and all that stuff, but I don't know why Alex Jones is on the hook for this. It makes no fucking sense. Jones' lawyer said during his closing arguments that the plaintiff had shown scant evidence of quantifiable losses. The attorney, Norman Pattis, urged jurors to ignore the political undercurrents in this case. This case is not about politics. Yeah, you're right. It's about a lack of rights for a human being, which is the current direction of politics in the world. Imagine that. Pattis said, it's about how much you compensate the plaintiffs. Because, yeah, he's not allowed to defend any of his statements or his lack of statements or his clarification of any statements that are out there. A default judgment was already handed down by the judge. She thought that, yep, Alex Jones is guilty. We're just here to decide how much money they're afforded. Jones, who has since acknowledged the shooting occurred, yeah, years ago at this point, testified and railed against his liberal critics. And again, I would encourage anybody to watch some of his testimony. It was a bit of a clown show. He was fucking blowtorching everybody because he knew exactly what was going to happen. Okay, this isn't absurd or anything like that. He knew that this day was coming. I'm not even sure he was in the courtroom at the time. Does it even fucking matter? No, because it's going to get appealed. It's going to get capped. The $1 billion is never going to hit these people's hands. And I don't think that's justifiable at all. During a press conference outside the courthouse in Waterbury, Jones said he apologized for his repeatedly for his remarks. I have apologized for 6 years for anything that I did wrong questioning Sandy Hook. I didn't question Sandy Hook to be mean. I wasn't a leader in questioning Sandy Hook, but I did say things that were hurtful and not true, but I did not do it on purpose. I have the right to question something. Yeah, very much so. But apparently not. Because this is a fucking trial run. Let's be completely serious. Anytime that you say anything bad, January 6th coming up very soon, of course. You question the official narrative on anything? Well, now we got precedent for it. But let's see the other side of this. Okay, let's go to Infowars.com, okay? Let's break the conditioning. Let's see how they're reporting this stuff. Because, hey man, I want to see it. Connecticut jury on Wednesday ruled against Alex Jones and would have to pay close to $1 billion to Sandy Hook families for speculating the school shooting could have been staged after deliberating for over 2 days. Oh, I thought they were just gone in today. I'm amazed it actually took that long. The 6-person jury reached their decision on compensatory damages Jones should pay on Wednesday, despite the radio host in many instances never mentioning the names of the plaintiffs who sued him. Now, but he already defamed everybody, okay? And then they're entitled to compensation because reasons. The second highest payout amount to the plaintiffs, the jury awarded FBI agent William Aldenberg, sure, who Jones never mentioned by name. Yeah, no. Oh, but you did. We just don't have any proof of it. But you did. Except for, yeah, when it was initially put forth that I'm being sued by William Aldenberg? Who the fuck is this guy? $90 million in compensatory damages, despite the fact that he had no connection to any of the children or staff who died in the mass shooting. Yeah, exactly. He was there. And that's interesting because you got a Fed charging somebody in something that was initially supposed to be before the federal government. It was supposed to be a federal case. It's just very interesting. I'll just say that. Jones reacted to the unprecedented verdict on the Alex Jones show moments after it was delivered. No, I thought it was a press conference they was delivering. No, I'm just joking. They want to scare everybody. No, I can't do that anymore because I got more videos to record and I can't be doing gravelly voice for that long. They want to scare everybody away from freedom, then scare us away from questioning Uvalde. Oh yeah, that'll be the next thing. You can't say anything about Uvalde, okay? Even though there's a lot of things to say about the ineffectual police officers that were there that day, because that would also be questioning the government, and we can't be doing that anymore. And what really happened there, or Parkland, or any other event, and guess what? We're not scared, and we're not going away, and we're not going to stop. Jones was probably far more animated than I was. For hundreds of thousands of dollars, I can't keep them in court for years. I can appeal this stuff. We can stand up against this travesty, against the billions of dollars they want. It's a joke. This corrupt, dying political system wants to try to make me the devil. I'm not the devil, and God is my judge, not you, you globalist scumbags. Yeah, I can picture Alex Jones just red in the face, ranting and raving about this. It would be highly entertaining, because at the end of the day, that's what everybody tunes in for Alex Jones for, just to be entertained. This is how desperate the establishment is. I'm so honored to have this happening. So we're waiting while the judge sent the jury back out because they didn't put decimals on how many millions I was supposed to give, and that's why it's such a joke. I don't have $2 million in cash. Barely anybody has $2 million in cash, if we're going to keep it a buck. Anybody who is a millionaire is never really a liquid millionaire, okay? All of their stuff is in investments, real estate, cryptocurrency. These people have money. They just don't have it lying around in order to just fucking write a check. Let's, be fucking honest about this stuff if you know how money works. In a press conference following the verdict, Jones's attorney, Norm Pattis, said he looked forward to appealing the verdict. Yeah, of course, we disagree with on the basis of the default. We disagree with the court's evidentiary rulings. In more than 200 trials in the course of my career, I've never seen a trial like this. Yeah, it's very interesting, to say the least. Today is a very, very, very dark day for freedom of speech. The verdict comes as a Texas jury in August also ordered Jones to pay $45 million in defamation, compensatory, and punitive damages in another Sandy Hook case. And there's supposed to be another one that's supposed to be going down in Texas once again before the end of the year. So we're going to see this facade go on once again. And hey, man, it really does suck what happened to those kids a decade ago at this point, and those families' lives have been ruined, understandably so. But to go about it in this form and fashion, punish somebody who most people, okay, because again, if you're watching this and you think the way that I think, you're not most people, you can see through most of this bullshit. This is just an attempt to silence people, okay, to just intimidate them by using the judiciary branch. Because when deplatforming, depersoning is not enough, they try to take away your payment processors, they try to take away your banks. Wasn't that funny what PayPal did not that long ago? Oh, but we're not doing that anymore. Yeah, get fucked. We already see the writing on the wall. And this right here, once again, Alex Jones is a canary in the coal mine. But thank God he's screeching as loud as he is. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.